What if the thing most likely to undermine your leadership isn't where you fall short, but the very strengths you're proud of? It sounds backwards, but it's true. The strengths that help you win at work, your drive, your decisiveness, your problem solving, your ability to take charge, can quietly create strain at work and at home if they become about proving something instead of serving someone. As Lloyd Reeb says, strengths are for service, not status. I love that. Love that quote. And he's so right? Your strengths are powerful, but they're also dangerous if you're not paying attention. When your strengths become the way you validate yourself, you start pushing harder, talking louder, and controlling more than you realize. You mean well, you're trying to help, but the people around you begin to feel pressure instead of support. The good news is, God didn't give you strengths to make you impressive. He gave you them, to make you useful. When your strengths shift from self-promotion to service, everything changes. When you stop, trying to prove yourself, your marriage feels lighter. Your kids feel safer, your team feels supported, and your leadership, begins to look a whole lot more like Jesus. Scripture is incredibly clear about the purpose of our strengths. There are gifts from God. And God never gives a gift without giving a purpose for it. 1 Corinthians 12 says, there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit gives them for the common good. In other words, your strengths aren't primarily for you. Therefore, the people around you, they're meant to bless, not impress. Similarly, in 1 Peter 4:10, it tells us each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, not yourself. And then Philippians 2 gives us the heart behind it. Paul writes, do nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility consider others more important than yourselves. Then he points to Jesus, the ultimate example of strength used for service. Jesus had limitless power, but he used it to heal, to lift people up, to wash feet, to lay down his life. So here's the truth. If Jesus, the strongest man who ever lived, used his strength to serve, then that's how you and I are called to use ours, God gives you strengths, not so people will look at you, but so they will see him through you. The truth is, strengths used for status will always create strain, but strengths used for service will always create unity. When you see your strengths primarily as part of your identity, I'm a leader, I'm the successful one, I'm the problem solver, it suddenly becomes more about performance, And once your identity gets tied to your performance, you start using your strengths to protect yourself instead of blessing others. If you're naturally decisive, you may, slip into taking control instead of inviting collaboration. If you're a visionary, you might unintentionally run ahead and leave people behind, who need more time. If you're a high achiever, you may grow impatient with those who don't move at your pace. If you're a strong communicator, you might win every argument, but lose the closeness that matters most. None of these things come from a bad heart. They come from relying on strengths for status instead of submitting those strengths to God for service. But when you shift that mindset, when you start using your strengths to lift people up instead of lifting yourself up, everything changes. Let's get practical. How do you actually use your strengths for service instead of status? Let me give you a few simple steps you can start this week. Tip number 1, name the strengths you lean on most. Start by identifying, your top strengths, the ones you naturally reach for in every situation. Maybe you're a planner, problem solver, a high achiever, a communicator, a strategic thinker. Naming those strengths create awareness, and awareness is where growth begins. Then ask yourself a simple question. Are these strengths helping people flourish, or are they creating pressure? This isn't about shame. It's about clarity. You can't use your strengths in the right way until you recognize how you're using them today. Tip number 2, invite honest feedback from the people you love. This one takes courage. Ask your wife, where do my strengths serve our family well, and where do they feel heavy? Ask a trusted friend, where do you see me leading with humility, and where do you see me slipping into pride or control? Ask God in prayer. Show me how to use what you've given me in ways that honor you. Feedback gives you guardrails. It helps you see the difference between serving, with your strengths and trying to be impressive with them. Tip number 3, Treat your strengths as assignments, not achievements. This mindset shift is huge. Your strengths are not trophies, they're tools. They aren't proof of your value, they're proof of God's calling. Instead of asking, how can I, use this to get ahead? Ask, who did God give me this strength for? That question alone will just reshape your leadership, your marriage, and your parenting. Tip number 4, use your strengths in ways that create peace, not pressure. Look for simple places to use your strength to bless others. If you're a planner, plan a date night or a family day. If you're decisive, take initiative in reconciliation. If you're persuasive, become the biggest encourager in your home. If you're strategic, help someone solve a problem without taking over. Strengths used humbly become a refuge for others. Tip number 5, model a strength that depends on Christ, not ego. Let your family see where your strengths come from. Let them watch you pray before you act. Let them see you apologize quickly. Let them see you admit weakness and ask for help. When your strengths flow through dependence on Christ, the people around you begin to trust your leadership on a deeper level. Here's what I want you to take away today. Your strengths are a gift, but they're not the point. God didn't create you to be impressive. He created you to be influential in a way that reflects Jesus. This week, ask one simple question. Who can I bless today with the strengths God has given me? It might be your wife, might be your child, might be someone at work or someone who needs encouragement. Use your strength in a way that creates peace. Use it to lift someone up. Use it to look a little more like Christ. Because strengths used for status fade, but strengths used for service build a legacy that lasts. Subscribe to the Courageous Men podcast so you never miss an episode. Share this with a friend who needs the encouragement and challenge to live courageously in how he uses his strengths. Start by joining the Courageous Men community today. Let's take action. Let's be courageous.